Hi, I'm Dave Meany, and welcome to my new series on Windows AI Foundry as part of a focus on on-device AI. In this episode, we'll look at the components that make up Windows AI Foundry, and we'll also look at how you can use them in AI Dev Gallery and Visual Studio. Think of Windows AI Foundry as an umbrella term for all of the experiences that Microsoft have put together to allow developers to build applications that run locally on Windows devices. And they're built up of a number of separate components. Windows AI APIs are the built-in APIs that Windows includes and which it uses as part of its Copilot Plus PC offering to deliver AI experiences. And it's also the easiest way to add AI to your Windows applications because you don't need to bring any models with you and you don't need to develop any models. You just consume APIs that are already part of the operating system and already have models associated with them to carry out common AI related tasks and really supercharge your application. Whilst Windows AI APIs are going to get you quite a long way, and they're really going to supercharge your applications and make them more useful to users, at some point you're probably going to find that you need to do things that aren't yet exposed in APIs and might never be. And that's where Foundry Local comes in. That's where you can use open source models from a large model catalog in your applications too, and still leverage them in a similar kind of way, easily, either as part of AI Dev Gallery or as Visual Studio, so that you can test them out before integrating them into your applications. Finally, we'll just touch on Windows ML, which actually underpins all of Windows AI Foundry, but also can be used on its own to allow developers to build their own models, quantize them, and then bring them into Windows devices so that they can be part of applications. And that's that additional level of flexibility that goes beyond just using the built-in APIs or just using the catalog of ready to use models. That really allows any model to be brought in to your application. So let's have a look at AI Dev Gallery, which is in preview and which you can install from Windows Store. Here you'll find a range of samples, a range of models and AI APIs that you can review and test and then export code straight into Visual Studio for. And if you look at the samples, there are about 40 of them across various different types of tasks like text, smart controls, coding, imaging, and audio and visual. And you can, if you just zoom in here, we can have a look at those and have a look at the models and understand how do we run those and then how do we export them into Visual Studio. So what's the code required? What's the performance needed? What's the model do? And you can see here that we've got, again, various different models available for us to import beyond just the APIs. And they can perform quite a large range of tasks. We can also keep a view of what we've got in our cache because we start building up quite a lot of models. We'll use a lot of storage. And then lastly here, we're looking at the APIs that are part of Windows 11. How could we use those to quickly add some capability to our application? So for the purposes of a demo here, let's imagine we want to build an app that generates text in a ChatGPT style way using local AI. And here we can see within Windows AI APIs, we have a text generation capability uh, that allows you to enter some information and get a response. And we can see some documentation here about how to use the API and how to get a response. We don't need to load a model here because we're using Silica, which is part of Windows 11 on Copilot Plus PCs. And we can also here export a sample from AI Dev Gallery straight into Visual Studio. So I'm just going to create a folder for it to live in, if I can type correctly. AI Dev Gallery will create a complete Visual Studio project for me. We can see all the files in here, and we can just go ahead now and open the solution file. Give it a minute to open. Okay, so we'll just get rid of this. And within the Solution Explorer, you can see, as I said, the whole project there. We just have a look at the main Windows XAML file. That's basically going to be a representation of what the UI will look like when we run it. And if we give it a run, just give it a minute to build, we basically get the same experience as we had in AI Dev Gallery, but in a self-standing Windows UI 3 application. Now let's put a more difficult question to the application, and at the same time, let's look at the NPU, because this is, remember, using Windows AI APIs. It's built into the OS. So what we'll do is we'll just ask it a question. There we go. And so it's having to think a bit harder than it would have done before about the answer. We don't really need to read the answer. We're just seeing that on the right-hand side, we are actually using, in this case, the Intel AI Boost, but it could be Qualcomm as well, or it could be AMD. Any of those silicons have an NPU on their Copilot Plus PCs, and we're generating a more meaningful response here, just purely using the local AI capability and using the NPU. And if you look on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can see that we're actually not connected to the internet either. The sample project that's been created is actually in WinUI 3 format, and there is no drag and drop method of editing the UI here. So for that reason, although I want to change the XAML, I'm not really much of a XAML editor. So I'm just going to use Copilot. This is not running locally. This is going to use the cloud to take the XAML that was created and just change it for me. Just add a space for a corporate logo, a space for a title, and a space for a little bit of an explanation text above my existing by Silica chatbot area. So let's just ask Copilot to do that. So I'm going to think. And it's going to give me some updated XAML that I'm going to just check it out, make sure it's not nonsense, but I'm sure it won't be. You can see that it's referring to a company logo, which I'll need to put into my project. That's where it's got the information from about how to do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy that XAML from Copilot, and I'm going to replace my main Windows XAML with this new one. So just before I do run it, I've added a logo PNG file into the assets directory. So when I run it, now you can see that the updated XAML has a title, a subtitle, and a company logo. And it's starting to look more like a real application. So I hope you found this introduction to Windows AI Foundry and also the Silica demo useful. We'll be back again with future videos demonstrating some of the other elements of Windows AI Foundry and AI Dev Gallery soon. So watch this space for more videos. Thanks for watching.